If you're dating someone with an anxious attachment style, take a walk with me. Outside of secure relationships, the most common type of relationship is an anxious with an avoidant. And some of you may be saying, hey, wait a minute, I'm both, which can be true because attachment is more of a spectrum. We can all exhibit the traits of an insecure attachment style at different periods of time, in different circumstances and situations. You may feel totally secure in the workplace, but in your romantic relationships, you can feel deeply insecure. And remember, these labels are meant for you to be able to understand yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. It's for you to gain clarity on the deepest, darkest, and most sensitive parts of you. It's to help you regain your sense of self and your agency. But here's one thing we're not going to do anymore, and that's weaponize therapy speak against the people that you say that you love. That's neither kind nor loving. You don't need to make someone else bad for you to feel good. We see this with friendships and with coworkers where you'll gossip behind someone's back and then be super kind in front of them. And while it may feel good in the moment, and most people won't even say anything about it, you still have to live with the fact that that's who you are as a person. That ultimately makes you untrustworthy. At the end of the day, you have to remember that we are all just walking each other home. And just because you've woken up to the reality of you doesn't mean that the people that you love will. Your job is to figure out if you can love them as they are, to love them anyway without having to fix or change them. So if you're dating an anxious attacher, you have to remember that when you're together, when you're in connection, when you're face to face, they're going to feel close to you. They're going to feel excited about this scenario. They might also feel hopeful and safe. And then when you part ways and the date is over, the dread and anxiety kicks in. They start replaying conversations that you've had, and they might begin rereading text messages. They're trying to anticipate all the reasons why you might leave them or abandon them. Their inner dialogue might sound like, why did I say that? That was so stupid. Then they're hit with this overwhelming feeling that they have to do something. They have to fix this. And some of you might be listening to this going, oh, come on, man, that's totally wackadoodle. But it's really not. That was their childhood and adolescent experience, their introduction into how to relate to other people. And if you're avoidant, this next part is enough to send you packing. The anxious attacher loves texting and 4-hour phone calls because they're getting their needs met. And in the beginning stages of a relationship, you're more than happy to go along with this because you're highly anxious too. The anxious attacher in this moment thinks this is absolutely amazing that they found their soulmate. What the anxious attacher doesn't often understand is that the avoidant has an upper threshold for connection. And when you meet or exceed that threshold, poof, the avoidant disappears. And before you start attacking the avoidant, you have to know they do desire connection. They do want a relationship. And I know you're not going to believe me when I say this because they seem so stoic and controlled in the way that they show up, but they're extremely anxious on the inside. So now that we've established that no one is right or wrong in this scenario, what can you do about it? The anxious attacher needs to work more on self-soothing techniques, things like breath work, going for a walk, exercise, yoga. And after you go for that walk and you're not feeling as spun up as you were, you can try journaling on your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. This will help you gain clarity on who you are, where you're going, what you're doing, and the why behind why you're doing it. You can also focus on your goals, values, and standards for a relationship with you. Another big challenge for the anxious attacher is boundaries for themselves and for others. When you find yourself emotionally activated, you can ask yourself, am I hungry, angry, lonely, tired, or bored? Pausing to self-reflect like this will allow you to increase your capacity for uncertainty. And then you can say things like, oh, I'm hungry. I should probably go eat something. I'm going to do that. Oh, I'm lonely. Instead of firing off 50 text messages, you're going to call somebody and go have coffee. You're establishing that you're already a whole and complete person, that you can stand in your own frame. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with desiring to be seen and heard. But you have to be able to see and hear yourself. Yourself being your inner guidance system. It's always there, it's always present, and it's always guiding you somewhere. The avoidant in this scenario has to be willing to speak their truth. You have to stop holding back. You've been doing everything in your power to try and please this person by showing up exactly how you think that they want you to. But you've already done more than what you're capable of giving. You've done more than your emotional capacity, and you feel depleted. And because the anxious attacher can never get enough time and attention, you're going to find yourself saying, I just can't be who you need me to be. I can't give you what you want. You deserve better than what I can give you. And if you try to set a boundary on time and communication with the anxious attacher, they're going to get defensive and feel like you're abandoning them. And when that happens, you have to understand that you're not dealing with the adult version of them. You're dealing with the hurt little me version. That version that needed attention, love, and guidance. You see, the anxious attacher often abandons themselves for the sake of this relationship, doing everything in their power to try and keep and maintain it, to include becoming a chameleon. They take on and follow along with all the hobbies and things that you enjoy. And in the back of your mind, you're thinking, where are your hobbies? Where are the things that you enjoy? Why aren't you doing all of those things? And they often don't do those things because they're afraid that the relationship is going to end, when in fact it actually causes a self-fulfilling prophecy and the relationship does end. And I know right now many of you are wondering, well, what about the avoidant? What are they supposed to do? The avoidant needs to lean into co-regulation with their partner. And the biggest challenge here is recognizing that you have two willing participants, two willing partners that are willing to do the work together. If you're the anxious attacher and you're questioning why you have to do all the heavy lifting, then that might not be the relationship for you. And if you're the avoidant, try leaning into 30-second hugs and see where that takes you.